Hello, my name is David Webb, and this is a video for Dweebovision. I am a Scrabble grandmaster, and in this video I am going to play Scrabble while providing in-game commentary on my moves. Hopefully this will help to improve your game, and be fun to watch. The game has just started, so let's join the action. It's me to go first. I have a poor rack. The V and the U are a bad combination, so I'm looking to play off both of them if possible. And I can do that by playing love, which doesn't give too much away to my opponent in the way of useful floaters, and the V obstructs parallel plays. Now the rack leave of A, B, O, P isn't great. The B and the P are not particularly synergetic, but I can't see a way of playing off the L and the V and one of those consonants. And this is looking more promising, but I still don't have a bingo, but this should be an easier rack to resolve than the previous one. Now I could play bop, but that would leave 3 vowels and a consonant, which isn't good. A play of boo would be far better. A-E-P-T is a good rack leave. I'll have to see what's available after my opponent has played. So at the moment I'm mainly focusing on my rack rather than the board. I can't see a way of playing off the B and the P without leaving a vowel consonant imbalance. And I'd certainly rather play off the B than the P, because the P features in more bingos. Good start for my opponent. 66-point bingo, and clearing takes an S. I don't have an S. My opponent may have drawn one. What my opponent has done is provide a good spot at J6 for my B, so I can play boo at J6 down. 25 points. Now I'm looking to see if I've got anything in column 8 onto the triple word square at 08, and I do. I've got oop that I can play in that spot. Let's see what this scores. Let me see what this scores. 20 points. That's 5 fewer points, but it is taking out the dangerous S hook on the end of clearing. And boo in column 6 would have provided an easy opportunity for my opponent to score in column 5. Now the only other thing I need to consider is whether I had a bingo through any of the floaters of clearing. So I had poo beat. Can't see anything through the R. What about the N? Poon beat. Nope. Okay, I can't see anything. I draw an S. The W and the B are not particularly bingo-y. But if I were to play web somewhere, I would have A-E-S-T as a rack leave, and that's really good. It is possible that I do have a bingo with this rack. But I haven't seen it yet. There is a floating R in clearing, so I've got the W-A-R-E ending. I've also got the B-E prefix, and there are a lot of B-E prefix bingos. But I'm pretty sure be sweat and be waste are not amongst them. I'm wondering if an L were available, if stewable is good. Not sure about that. Okay, I have an M as a floater. Can't see anything there. Okay, I'm not seeing a bingo with this rack. My opponent has provided a good spot for Webb. The rack leave is really good, and Love takes an S, so I do have a bingo lane for a 7-letter bingo ending in S. I can't see a bingo with this rack, but it's always, or almost always, good to see the X because it provides opportunities for big scores. I'm looking to see if there are any vowels next to premium squares. There is the J6 spot. I can't put my X on that and get it to score twice. So good score for my opponent, 34 points, and he's not opened up the triple word square at 01 because V does not take any tiles after it. So what am I going to do with this rack? Because A, E, S, T and the D are so good, I'd certainly like to play off the X and the Y. Now I can do that with X-ray at K6. Let's see what this scores. I'm playing off the A, which I'd prefer not to. It scores 23 points. Now that isn't a great score. I think I can do better than that. I hope I can do better than that. X, Y, S, T is good, but that burns the S. I could play that at F10 down. 37 points. Actually, that's not bad. That's certainly better than a score in the low 20s. Now, is there anything else? Well, there's sexy at H10 down. Now, I am behind. I'm 72 points behind, so I'd like to keep the board open. It's not particularly open as it is, and sexy would close it down more than Zist. Now I'm missing something a lot better. Nope, I can't see anything fabulous. Through an H I would have tool head. Can't see a 7. And I have no high-scoring tiles, so I'm going to struggle to score well, but it won't be difficult to leave a good rack leave. A simple play such as a Lou would leave date, which is good. I'm looking to see if I can play around the X. But none of my vowels go after the X. I would need an I or a U to play in column 11. Zist, I note, takes an I and an S after it, neither of which I have. I am 35 points behind, so I would like to keep scoring to try and catch up without necessarily needing a bingo. Now I can play oval at G9 down. 18 points, and that would leave DEOT, so that looks quite promising. And Another play I could make would be odd at I6 down. 16 points. That's not so good because it leaves 3 vowels and 2 consonants. It does, however, open up column 5, and I'd like to open the board up more while I'm behind. There is a bingo lane in row O, beginning with the P of oop. I don't have a bingo with this rack. There's also a bingo lane in row K, beginning with the R of clearing. Okay, my opponent has blocked oval. And he's also taken out the bingo lanes in row K and O, so that's a good move by my opponent. I can play wool at K9 across, 14 points, not a very good score. I could play dato at C9 down, 16 points. Now the problem with that is that it provides a very easy opportunity for my opponent to score at A8. Now, what about this? Loath. 28 points, it's a big score. The rack leave is okay. There is not an excess of vowels. I am opening up the triple word square at A8, but not in such a dangerous fashion as dato would have done, placing a vowel next to the double letter square at D8. And if my opponent doesn't open up A8, I'm likely to next go, therefore opening up the top half of the board. Duty is good. Does that play? Don't think it does. Very few bingo lanes on this board. I'm only 27 points behind. I may be able to claw my way back into the lead without a bingo. Ox takes an O after it. So I could play Toho at C11 down, 24 points, leaving IDE. Do I have a play from A8 down? L takes an E after it, so I'm looking for a word ending, 5-letter word ending E. Well, or a 6-letter word ending EH. Docks and tocks are not good. My opponent provides a floating N, and he's also opened up column 13 because in takes an S after it. Unfortunately, I'm unable to take advantage. So, is there something from A8 down? I'm looking for a 5-letter word ending in E. Can't see it. Okay, be annoying if I've missed one. Now I could place my H at J6. And play O here for 28 points. It's a big score. It opens up column 5. Rack leave isn't the best. Slight excess of vowels. But the rack leave does go well with the floating N of in. And if I don't draw any more vowels, I might have a very good rack indeed. And even if I do draw vowels, I will hopefully have a 5-letter play that can go from A8 down. Let's see what happens. Great, I don't draw any more vowels. I can't see a 7-letter bingo or an 8 through the N. I am, however, only 21 points behind now. And I have tithe at A8 down. That's great because it places the H on the double letter square at D8. 38 points if that stays available. And it does. Excellent. Is the tide turning? And Doxy is good. Excellent. 59 points. Wow, that is huge. And there's the blank. Great. I have a 7-point lead. Now, do I have a bingo to maximise this on this opportunity? I do have 3 E's, which isn't great. Roe deer isn't good. I'm going to mentally run through the alphabet. I do have the floating N of in and the T of tithed to keep in mind. I'm up to F and I haven't seen anything. I'm up to L and I haven't seen anything. Up to P and I haven't seen anything. Gosh, how annoying. Still haven't seen anything. I'm up to V. I'm contemplating V at the moment, so I'm looking at over words. Over need I don't think is good. Now if the blank was a W, I would have the weed suffix. Can't see anything there. Now what about X? That goes well with vowels. So I'm looking at words beginning EX or XO. No, still nothing. Well, I've exhausted the alphabet and not seen a bingo. There could well be one here. I have tree as a prefix or a suffix. So, well, both of those have been taken out. Only 12 points for my opponent, which is good. He now has a 5-point lead. I have just under 10 minutes left. There are 33 tiles in the bag. Now, having clawed my way back into this game and got the blank, I'm in the tricky position of not having any scoring tiles and not having a bingo. So how best to handle this situation? Now what about words and bingos ending double E like employee? Nope, can't see one. Okay, I think I'm going to have to abandon this search. So, what is the board offering me? Not very much. It's good to have the D because there is the 7-letter bingo lane from C5 down to I5 making do. So actually playing off OE or double E might be my best bet. 4 E's left, 3 O's. So I could play OE here for 10. Am I missing something obviously better? Not sure I am. Okay, and that's not giving away a huge amount for my opponent. If he does go make a high-scoring play from L12 across to L15, he'll be providing more floaters. That would certainly benefit me with a blank. That's good. I have redeems in column 13, making ins. And I have smeared in column 5 at C5 down, so I am bingoing. Excellent. Now, do I have it, having spotted a bingo, or a couple of playable bingos, I can now look to find the best bingo. I think on this board, I'm probably looking at playing across from A8. So I'm looking at a bingo beginning T, vowel, vowel. And I can't see one. I have a 5-point lead at the moment. If my opponent doesn't bingo now, I should be taking a 30, 40 or bigger point lead. Now the other way of scoring a better bingo would be in column 13 if I could hook in and OE, but that would require using my blank as an S. And I can't see a bingo with that set of 7 tiles. Oh, okay. Good for my opponent. I am going to be able to bingo straight back, but I'll be playing catch up rather than establishing a lead. So do I play in column 14 and open column 15, or do I play in column 5? I think I play in column 5. My opponent would just have too easier a time of scoring 50 odd points, and I don't want to give him that opportunity as we approach the end game when we're neck and neck. Smeared doesn't provide too much. There is an opening for my opponent at H1 across, so maybe I can do better than this. HA takes an A in front, a C in front, and an S in front. So do I have a word ending MS or DS or RS? Oh, well, redeems. Yeah. Oh, well, that's good. Still places an E next to the double letter square at H4, but it scores more. Redeem 79. Well, I'm mindful of the time. There are 24 tiles in the bag and I've only got 6 minutes, so there may well be a better bingo in that spot which doesn't place an E at H5, but I'm not going to spend time looking for it. Ooh, pretty bad. So 2 U's, 2 I's, 2 R's, and I've only got a 19-point lead. And the tiles in the bag are pretty good. Very reluctant to change. Because that scores no points. Now, there are no U's unseen, so I'm not going to draw any more. There are 4 I's, which is bad. There are 12 vowels out of 24 tiles. Gosh, this is a really tricky spot to be in. I could play FU double R at L12 across. 28 points. And that stays available. I could also play that at D3 down. My opponent's only scored 17 points. If there was a floating E, I would have Furrier. I'm wondering if I can play at H1 across. Well, H1 across is an opportunity, so if I play Fur across here, although I am opening up column 15, there are openings elsewhere on the board. I've only got a 2-point lead. This really doesn't feel good. This feels slightly too open given how bingo-y the remaining tiles are. Very tricky. I could play Riff for 24 points. That's actually much better, I think. If I play Riff across here, the F is a far less dangerous floater. I am keeping 2 U's, which is terrible, but there aren't any more U's. And I am keeping a consonant. And I'm taking out a hotspot. And I draw the second blank. Great. So, do I have a bingo? I have the I. Oh, look at that. Agony. If I'd played Fur, I don't think... Well, I'm not sure. Maybe my opponent would have had a playable bingo. But I've got the blank. There's only 3 tiles in the bag. So I need to play off 2 tiles and hope that I can bingo. Now the 2 U's are the obvious tiles to play off, and I can play them. I can play them at D12 across. But am I missing a playable bingo? With the rack as it is. Is column 3 available for a 7-letter bingo? And this row A for an 8 through the T. Can't see one. I don't think there are any other bingo lanes on this board. Now, there's only 3 minutes left. Is there somewhere better than D12 to play off my 2 U's? Do I want to play off a B and a U for a better score? Can't see a spot for playing off B and U. Now, this isn't looking great. 1 tile in the bag. My opponent, I think, is going to have a big score across from H1, possibly froze, which would certainly secure the win for him. I do not have a 7-letter bingo. The B and the P and the duplicate I are all, well, as a combination, are unbingo-y. Yep, there goes froze. So there's the floating F and R, but I just don't have anything through them. I can see what tiles my opponent has got left there, E, G, I and J. Well, plenty of opportunities for my opponent to play those. I've got only 2 minutes left, so I'm just looking to score somewhere. Now if I play prob down here, I'm taking out a spot that my opponent could have played his J at. And I'm also giving myself an out of Inia at A10 across. And I'm going to play this now because I'm short of time. I haven't found another out, but I think there probably is going to be one. Maybe there isn't. So Inia and it. Oh well, that stays available. Can't see anything that I can play through the J. I can't see anywhere else that I can play Inia or Ilia. So I think I'll end this game. Just wait for my opponent to formally end it, which he does. And the final score is 357 to me, 503 to my opponent. So a winning margin of 146. Well done to my opponent. Let's see what I missed. It was me to go first. I played love, and the alternative was pav, but that would have retained the U, so I prefer my play. I thought for a moment Aerobot was a bingo. It's not. It would have scored 36 points. That was a double-double in row K, which I didn't look for. And my play of oop at M8 for 20 points has a reasonable rack lead, so I don't think there's a huge difference between any of those moves. Great, no missed bingos here. I could have played Weam or Weem at I3. Oh, I see, through the M of McKee. That would have been nice. Good rack lead of EST. Instead I played Web for 4 fewer points, but retained the A. Very little between those. Wow, 48 points for Dexy at K9. I see. Parallel to Oop, making Nox and Goy. That would certainly have been good, and it would have retained the S. Instead, I played the S with Zist for 37 points, so I could have got 11 more points and kept the S. Dexy would certainly have been a better play. Love looks like it was best. Honeyed at H12. I see, through the second N of in. And instead of that, I played O for 28. I prefer my play. I think the rack leave is better. This is where I played Tithed for 59. That looks best. Oh, there was a bingo, just the one. Or weed. I did consider the weed suffix, but I didn't consider, or didn't spot, that all weed was there, so that was a miss. This is where I played Redeems, and yeah, I think Deperms would have been better because it would have placed an R at H5 rather than a vowel, but that's a small difference. This was when I had a really horrible rack. And Fiery was playable at H1 for 24 points. Instead I played Rief for the same number of points and retaining an I, so Fiery would certainly have been better, and my opponent would not have been able to play Fiancés. And just looking at that, I'm wondering if I'd played Fur at L12, I would have provided a floating R. I think there may be a bingo through the R. Increase. and Scenarios. Oh wow, Scenarios would have been a 9-timer. Okay. No bingos here, not really surprising. This is where I played Ulu, and I could have played a G9, AYU. Oh, AYU and KYU. Okay, not sure I really like that, retaining B and U. But I don't think there were any winning moves at this stage of the game. And I did not have a bingo at the end. My player prob wasn't particularly great, but this was a lost game. Impair at A10 was available. I see putting the I above the T of Glint. That would have been 32 points. And finally I played Ilya, and I could have played Iliac at A7 parallel to Tithed. So a losing game, but I missed all weed, so one cannot go around missing bingos and then feeling sorry for yourself for losing the game. So I think there were a number of interesting spots in that game. I think the Reef move where I could have played Fiery and I could have played Fur, and I could also have changed. I think there's probably quite a lot of difference between how those game moves might play out if they were to be analysed, but it's difficult to assess just looking at the board. My opponent was somewhat fortunate to have a bingo through the F, but if I'd played Fiery, which was a better move at H1, that opportunity would not have arisen. So plenty to think about in that game. I hope you enjoyed watching it. My name is David Webb, and this has been a video for Dweebovision.